And we're live. It's your man, DJ Seiko Varner, a.k.a. Mr. Drink Too Much Coffee, Mr. New FOREX, Mr. Wedding DJ. And I'll let the lovely ladies introduce themselves. You want to start it off?
Who? Me?
Yeah, go ahead, Ma.
Hey everyone. I'm Terry, part of So Creative and Pierre Associates. And I'm just here to learn.
Okay.
Hey, who brought the dog with him? Who brought the dog with him?
I'm gonna put you on mute because that's my dog.
Okay.
You know, it's not bothering us.
It's okay.
All right.
Gonna crack a joke, but yeah, it's good. It's okay.
Lady Miko, introduce yourself.
My name is Miko. Mommy works at a daycare, and soon we'll be having some online courses. Hopefully, I've got a couple books out. New to FOREX and here learning.
All right, good brother, back to you.
All right. I don't know if I'm fly guy number 1 or 2. I just know I'm a fly guy. Want to welcome everybody to the call. This is the Fly Guy Show, where things happen after a 10-minute phone call or a 3-second text.
Give an example of the text, brother.
All right. Hey, Bert, let's get Jewel on the line and do a call. It's happened at 3 seconds, I think.
Yeah, it's about 3 seconds. All right, well, tonight we want to deal with the concept, and Jewel may be joining us a little later on, so salute her when she shows up. The topic of teamwork to team wealth. Teamwork to team wealth, which actually corresponds with the principle of Umoja, unity, to strive and maintain unity in the family community. And we're really dealing with the business or the community of investors here, how to maintain unity in that community. All right. So the great thing is we're all investors. So we understand the concept of sowing seeds, and it may take a while, but we have to till the land, we have to let it rain, we have to let the water infiltrate the ground and make a real fertile situation for those seeds to start sprouting and blooming. But the concept of teamwork, how does teamwork involve itself in investing? Whether you're investing financially or investing in the community or investing in your family, community, nation, or race, if we're investing in our nation that we live in, how does teamwork really fertilize our investment efforts?
Well, I'm going to give an example. So Terry from So Creative and we met at Panera Bread today.
Okay.
Terry hit me up and said, hey, man, when's the next training? I said, well, because of the holidays, I have several days of downtime. Why don't we get together? She said, sounds like a plan. So we got together today around 1 o'clock. And I personally thought I was going to share more with Terry than Terry was going to share with me. She really, really wowed me in her level of comprehension of just investing, period. Some of the things that she had done to try to make tomorrow a little better for those coming behind her than it is for her today. And I give you one example, and maybe she can expound on that once I shut up, is she shared with me how she's went through a stock certification training program, and how she's getting into purchasing stock. And she showed me her trading platform and showed me some of the stocks that she was watching. And she also showed me some of the stocks that she had invested in. And there was one specific stock that really caught my attention. It's in the marijuana, medicinal marijuana industry.
Why did that capture your attention? Pothead.
I promise I'm not a weed head, but it caught my attention because it's an industry that we collectively have talked about, specifically with David Anderson, and how it's an up-and-coming industry, and there's a lot of upside to being involved in that industry. And so There was one company she shared with me that when she got in, it was at 42 cents. I think she got in for maybe $100 or so. And since within a week, she's doubled her money.
Whoa.
Right?
Okay.
So again,
Uh,
yes. Give her a round of applause.
Salute the queen.
So,
salute the queen.
Right. And so to tie into your conversation of teamwork making the dream work as far as wealth building goes, is a lot of times it's as simple as finding someone who is successful and following their footsteps.
Well, I think that begs a story from Lady Terry. So, Terry, why don't you share with us some of the things that you have gotten involved in with investing, and then maybe let's talk about how teamwork could increase the responses and the benefits that you're currently achieving.
Okay, sure. I'm kind of new to investing when it comes to stocks, but I'm a part of a couple Facebook groups where, I've got in contact with a couple of the ladies who are teaching like additional classes. So like this one class is called Zero to Investor, and it was a class that was $37. I mean, regularly $99. So I ended up, thinking, okay, I'm going to try it. I've always wanted to get into investing. Took the class. She taught you how to get your Roth IRA started. So I opened up a Roth IRA, and from there, she, told you how to, what stocks are better choices and how to decide which stock you want to choose. So from there, I just started kind of monitoring and, purchasing some of my stocks and watching it grow.
How do you monitor your stocks?
Well, I'm on a platform where the broker, you bring up all of your stocks that that you've bought into, and you can see what they're doing on, especially while the market is still open, you can see exactly what's happening to the stock, if it's going up, if it's going down. So, she teaches you all of that, what to look for, what companies have been paying dividends for over 50 years. Because there's like 16 dividend kings, or what it's called. 16 companies that have for 50 years been giving you, dividends over the course of that time.
Wow.
And then you have like dividend challengers, and that's companies that have been given dividends to their shareholders from, let's say, 25 years, and then it goes down. So a lot of times, like stocks like Johnson & Johnson and Coca-Cola, these are companies that have been around, and they're blue chip stocks that if you're trying to build a portfolio, not only are they going to give you money if you sell them, they're also going to give you money because they pay dividends.
Wow.
So, for me, I want to be a growth investor where I'm actually buying stocks and living off, like David Anderson say, invest the principal, live off the interest.
Right.
That's basically.
Salute to Doc for that one. Wow, that's blowing me away, Terry.
Yeah.
That must be a really exciting feeling.
Huh?
That must be a really exciting feeling.
It is, only because I always thought it was too hard for me to do, so, or, you're always thinking you're going to live paycheck to paycheck. And if you know that the same thing that you've always done is giving you the same results, I was like, that's it. I'm stopping this cycle. And I started just saying, I'm going to pay myself first. And once I got to that mindset where I'm paying myself first and investing that, it just took off from there. So, of course, I'm still working on my portfolio, but I think with this medical marijuana, because it's such a you can get on the ground floor. Of course, there's some risk to it, but at the same time, that's where you want to be. You can start out slow. Like I started out with just $100, and
Okay.
I've had it for maybe 2 weeks. And just Friday, it made $87 on top of what it had already made. So I put in $100 on that particular stock, and I've already made $150, over. So that's pretty good odds. I mean, if I would have put in $1,000, it would have doubled, my 1,000 or 10,000, so of course I'm just getting my feet wet, but I plan on continue to watch these stocks, and I will definitely be putting in more money, because I know that as more companies, or as more states legalize marijuana, it's going to be a market for it. So, although I don't particularly partake, I want some of the money from it.
Wow. That's some great information. So I guess the question to deal with today's topic is, how can a team get involved in doing what you're doing? How can we maybe replicate your success? How can we build upon your success in a team fashion, so we can go from teamwork to team wealth?
Well, absolutely. Well, I think that just first, like opening broker accounts, now people already have their retirement accounts in place. You don't necessarily have to get a traditional, IRA or Roth IRA. But let me just give you a tidbit of information, because some people may not understand what's happening. They may say, well, I, invest in my 401k, and that's enough. I get a company match. But if you understand 401ks and understand the fees that are associated with it, of course, they want you to, buy into the whole 401k, but really that's not the place where they keep their money. They keep their money in a Roth IRA, because basically done with after-tax dollars. So when your portfolio grows, it grows tax-free.
Wow.
So even when you pass it on to your family, it's still tax-free. So that's how the Warren Buffetts and the people that are really investors, that's what they put it in, that self-directed IRA, where you're buying your own stocks. You're not letting other people, manage it. Pretty much you're managing it yourself, and we're led to believe that it's hard to do, and it's really not.
Hey, Bert, I noticed that you added some information about the Novus Acquisition and Development Corporation. How is that relevant to our topic and our discussion?
That's the company that Terry shared with me earlier today when we met at the Panera.
Okay.
I don't recall the time frame, but I think it's Terry. What did you say you invested in them 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
42 cents.
Since maybe 2 weeks, maybe even a week and a half. But I know on Friday, it shot up. It went from maybe like 56 cents to 93 cents, all in that same day.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
People like Damian Marley and Snoop Dogg, they're all investing in this right now. Like I said, even Warren Buffett, they understand that although it's the ground floor and it may take some time, they're going to be able to reap the benefits. Let me, my dog, let me at least put him away so y'all won't hear him in the background, okay? I'm sorry.
All right. Well, I think that's some really important information. And what I'd like to find out is how, Bert, with your operations with Wear Black Biz, how were we able to take this information and make sure that a team benefits from it? How were we able to take this information and make sure a whole team benefits from it? What do you think?
Well, I think it goes back to the conversation what we had about with, I can't remember her name, but she was the lady, and I think her son, they got with David and they started this business finance company. But I think perhaps we keep this type of information amongst a closed group, and we work with one another to share best practices, to share winning information, and we grow our community to a point where it's we all have a solid foundation, and then perhaps we can introduce that to the public. You feel what I'm going with this? Because our communities definitely need inspiration, and so at some point you have to reach back, in the spirit of Sankofa, you have to reach back in order for a brighter future. So I would say to continue to grow as a team, as a group, and once we have have solidified ourselves and have had at least accomplished some of our goals personally and collectively, then to share that with our community, to show them the way as well.
Right.
All right, so we take the, and I hate using it, but I also love using it. We take the talented 10th approach. We take 10% of us, we just take our small groups and we work on edifying, educating, improving, sowing into those who are aligned, who are like-minded, and we use that as the example for others.
Right.
Absolutely. Because you got to have, I think we talk about this often, Seiko, is, before we can help someone else, we have to be able to help ourselves. You even think about, I think we used this analogy before on a previous call, is when you're on a plane, they tell you to put your mask on before you help anybody else put their mask on. Because you don't want to pass out before you pass out while you're trying to help someone else put their mask on, so.
You want to say something, Terry?
Oh no, that's exactly what I was saying. It's the way I try to give the information to people. Sometimes people don't receive it. They may look at it as, oh, she's making a little money, and I don't know. I find that when I'm trying to pass on this information, some people take it, some people don't. So you're not going to have everyone willing to accept that this is what they need to do, but you do have that select group that is like, interested and willing to take what we're saying and say, okay, look, this is what I need to do. I know I can't afford it. I know bills, I have more than money, but it's always going to be like that unless you say, okay, I need to pay myself just like I pay these bills. So when you get into the mindset that you want to save and that you're willing to invest what you save, then you can start to, I guess, just benefit, from that hard work.
All right, well then let's make it realistic. We have Miko, who has a home daycare center.
Okay.
That's definitely a great business model. I mean, because people are always having kids or trying to, working on them. So how do we take our group and we make Miko's business, we invest our time, our talents, our energies in making her business more viable, stronger, and more profitable?
Okay. Now let me ask you, with her home-based business, it's a daycare? Is it just her, or does she have employees? I mean, how is her business structured? Is it where she can have only a few kids, or is it where
I'm right now. I'm at my max unless I do.
Okay, you're at your max. Okay. So are you looking to expand as far as bringing on employees, or is it just you and then you are able to pretty much have maybe 6 children or maybe 2 babies and 4 after?
Where I am right now, I'm good with the number that I have.
Okay.
I'm expanding until I get a house, which is
Okay.
on the goal for later. So, like for myself, this is something I was mentioning to someone. I was trying to see if I could get on the call, so I was trying to forward the information to see if she can join us now. I was telling her that I am, and I've known for a while that I am, I've always played a supportive role. And you know how you have some people that naturally fall into a leadership role. I'm one of those people that I can stand at the backstage and cheer you on and help you give your speech. And I'm the type that, you know, I will not run for like a president or a treasurer role, but I'll be on hospitality. I'm like, you need me to pass out these flyers? All right, cool. You need me over here now to help paint? All right, cool. So I'm the one that goes and shares information.
Okay.
And I think that's one of the things that we tend to miss, because in the middle of trying to help people build, we have a tendency to forget that a servant's role is important. And when you have a servant's heart, your stuff will eventually come to you anyway. But don't be afraid to help build somebody else up. And even though you may not have the level of expertise that you would like to have, because I tend to be one of those people that I want to have all my stuff together before I go try to share it with folks, so that just in case there's an issue or something, I'm not giving misinformation. But there's still that part where you learn as you go. Like when you were talking about a shout out on Christmas Eve. Yeah, because that was something else that I was noticing on the Forex side, the way numbers were starting to skyrocket because of that holiday coming through. So one of the other things that with that, I think that if we take notes as we go and things that we're noticing, then when we come together, we're not racking our brain trying to remember what it was that we learned when we're sharing it. I don't know if I went off topic. Y'all have to.
Well, I see where you're going, but I'm thinking, okay, you have a home-based business.
With my next project isn't really with daycare. That's long term. I'm right now, like I said, I'm at my max for daycare, day children. So unless I get overnight or weekend, you know, I'm where I'm going to be legally.
Well, how can a team of people make your business more prosperous without, and I'm not saying you got to take in more people. I'm not saying you need more kids.
Like with me, it would be basically to let people know, like, so when they need drop-in care. But like I said, I also have things that I've written. So for me in that section, support would come with getting that out, that I have things written for daycare providers and for parents that are looking for daycare. And the second portion of that is, as I get my online courses out, just to let people know that those things are available. Like I have a daycare workbook already put together, like a little support curriculum. So that is stuff that people don't know about. That would be the next thing to, I guess, promote.
Okay, and so I can see how a team can get behind that. So we know you have curriculum, you have online content that relates to babysitting, relates to daycare. So Terry, how could you take her content, her curriculum, and put a team behind that? Bert, same question.
Well, what I think is that there's a lot of people who want to do what she does, you know, that may not have not really the mindset, but they may not have the information on how to start a home-based business dealing with daycare. So like she said, she has curriculum. So maybe just having more of an online presence so people will know the people who are interested in getting the same type of business that she has, they know that they can get the information from her. So maybe helping her more so, you know, since she's not really trying to get more children and expand that way, we could probably at least get people to know that she has information on how they can set their own business up. And that can go, you know, be a stream of income for her, not necessarily dealing with having more children. Okay.
What says you, Bert?
I tell you what, Terry just stole my thunder. She just stole my thunder. My wife does in-home child care as well, and one of the things I'm always amazed at the level of efficiency and expertise that she has. I think even sometimes when the inspectors come into the home and they challenge my wife because she becomes a student of her craft, she's able to correct them and says, that's not accurate. Now that is equivalent of you're going from your house to the mall and getting pulled over by a cop who says, I'm going to give you a traffic citation for XYZ, and you articulating the law or whatever the code is and saying that's not accurate because section XYZ says this. My wife does that to the inspectors when they're not correct. And when they go back and they check, they'll say, okay, you're correct. I checked the code and you're correct. So the natural progression, same thing for an author, someone who becomes published, you naturally become a consultant, and that within itself becomes a business. You know what I'm saying? That can be used to generate revenue and income.
Okay. I can see that. I was thinking online content where I'm watching her do a lesson. I'm watching her interact with the children. I'm watching her plan for the week. And those types of things that I could see charging for. But also I could find that Nestle Cocoa wants to sponsor a series of lessons that Miko does. I can see that Gerber may want to sponsor a series of online content that she creates doing her natural work. You know, so wow. So, well, Miko, we just gave you a couple of ideas. Terry giving the heat, and Bert was just kind of supporting his wife. He must be in the doghouse.
Piggyback off of what Bert said, that information is valuable because what if maybe Miko, she may not have known that there's someone out there that knows this information, or let's say she is the person that knows this information. There may be other people that have that same business that may not know. And maybe her helping them in that respect could also be worth something. You know, do you understand what I mean? As far as knowledge of how to handle the inspectors, how to, I don't know. I've never done in-home daycare, but I'm just.
I understand what you're saying, because I've seen like when like for me, I already have the equivalent college.
Right.
The Child Development Associate degree is something that has to be renewed, and that is a certification that a lot of providers attain or they're shooting to get. So there are people that already have that, that offer to be the mentor to help people prepare, because it's like 120 hours of studying.
Right. Okay.
Anything else. So that would fit into what you're saying.
Beautiful. So how do we go from getting her to increase revenue by those means to making it something that we can invest in financially? Is that an option?
I mean, I would think so. I mean, because just like we said, as far as her increasing her online presence, as she has more people wanting to get the information that she has, I mean, she's dealing with children. So I know her time is already limited, so us being able to help her with this and, when her business grows, because we're helping, maybe we're also benefiting from it. So I guess just, I'm not sure, but I just know that.
But I think the beautiful thing that just happened is within 10 minutes, she gave her business model as it currently operates, and we were able to strategically, just off the top of our heads, come up with 3 strategies that can increase revenue without necessarily having to increase the amount of clients you serve.
Exactly.
What if we did that with all of our businesses? That's teamwork making team wealth.
Right.
We pretty much just did a, what do you call it, a brain trust, a think tank. We just did a profitable think tank for Miko. And I think this is something that we could possibly do for a lot other of our businesses.
Mm-hmm.
So we have 5 minutes left. How can we do that with a real estate agent? Like the queen of real estate, Miss Terry?
Well, I think we could do it by increasing, well, am I supposed to answer this, or is?
Well, maybe I can help.
Okay.
In every industry, I like to tell people that the marketplace is very, 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 very noisy right now. There's thousands of real estate agents. There's hundreds of brokerage firms. How do you get to the point where you are the recognized person that, and I know this doesn't necessarily 100% focus on you, Terry, because I know when we talked earlier today, you said your focus was probably 60% investing and maybe 40%, servicing clients looking for or to sell or to buy. But if it was flip-flop and you were going to be a traditional agent, I always recommend, no matter what industry you're in, to become the thought leader. And right now, video is king. 70% of all internet traffic by 2017, which is right around the corner, is going to be video. And so one is video. Just give them little tips. I was talking to Cynthia Blackwell. She said, I know how to stop people from losing their home to a foreclosure by applying for a deed in lieu. That in itself is a game changer.
Wow.
So becoming the thought leader, taking little nuggets. It doesn't have to be a 30-minute or an hour phone call. It could be 2 to 3 minutes every day, just telling people about things, game-changing things that they didn't know about specific industries.
Okay.
Okay.
One of the things that I've done, with cutting costs, not just the, because we did have a lady that came out I think she's on WPCE radio, like the 10 to 3 slot on Saturday, had talked about people getting together collectively to come together to purchase radio time, and she would promote you. One of the other things that I do, and I have cards of people, like sometimes I just post them on my door as parents are going out, like at an event rental. So when birthdays were coming up, as soon as they see it on the door, they can just go ahead and see that. Or, have like the baseball card billfold, like when people saying, do you know anybody? Hold on. Yeah, I got somebody that does that. One of the other things that I did, just on Facebook, I like to write notes, and I'll be updating it soon. But one of the things that I do is for my friends, or my contacts, list them and their business. Just have it available so that when people are clicking on your page, they're going through whatever. Or like my cousin had asked how to find childcare in Northern Virginia. I know resources. I'm like, I can send you to a page. There you go. So if it's already on your Facebook, you know, you just open up the note and the person's information is right there, and then you don't have to go back and searching for it, because most people got access on the phone. Now I don't. I don't just pull up my phone like that because, you know, I'm challenged like that with technology. But you know, just small little things, just adding it, and then you have it as you go. So you're not having to go collect it. You don't have to call up somebody specific and like, hey, can you point me to? Because you already have those contacts with you or on your page or whatever.
Okay, how can a team support that effort, that activity?
I mean, that's not really. It's not really a lot of effort. I mean, I guess for me, maybe it's because I like to write. I mean, if you're just adding stuff to your phone or you're collecting cards and you've got like a wallet thing or whatever, they're with you. So it's almost like a walking Rolodex. It's almost like
a walking billboard of sorts. Yeah, I mean, Yellow Pages is what I meant.
Yeah.
You're the human Yellow Pages.
They're in my head maybe as I'm seeing it, because because I tend to keep those things. Because I guess I run into people that are looking for stuff.
Okay, and we're looking at a minute left in our conversation.
Let me just say this real quick. I think that what we're doing right now is key. You know, building relationships, you know, taking tips from each of us. This is awesome.
I agree. Bert, you want to take us out with your normal closing message?
For sure. Hey, look, everyone. Well, first of all, thank you everyone for making a call. Everyone wants to be on a winning team, but they just don't want to be on the team. They want to also know that they have made the necessary contributions to help that team win. So definitely want to thank everyone for being here, and go team.
And as I always say in closing, stay fly. Peace.
All right.